Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and today we're doing some more grading.
We're grading all of the rares and mythics from the Innistrad Midnight Hunt Commander product.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, bringing you more daily content. There are only 4 days left in our Kickstarter campaign. Get down there because we're working on a new goal, which is a blooper reels every season because we hit our last goal.
Yes, so get excited for that, and you get your name in the credits by doing that. Also, we have a TCG player link in the description below. You use that link, and guess what? You buy cards as normal, spending absolutely no extra money, and we get a kickback. You support the nerds. You don't spend extra money. Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
That's a life hack if I've ever heard one. What are we doing?
We're getting all the rares and all of the mythic rares from the new Commander product, which came out alongside Midnight Hunt. So this is the Commander product, Midnight Hunt, whatever they call it. Something not fancily named.
Yeah, we're going to go over our usual A to F grading scale. A is about auto-include. B is like a build-around. C, they're usually cuttable. D's, usually you don't bother. And F, don't play it. Just don't play. You're better off.
Yeah, forget about it, the F stands for. So, the lower the grade, the more of a reason you need to play that. Even if a card is an F, if you have a good enough reason, well, you can throw it in your deck. And that reason can simply be, I like this card. That's all the reason has to be.
Yeah, we have to take a look at this and tell you how powerful do we think these cards are. And this is that. So what are we going to do for the first one? It's actually Avacyn's Memorial. What do we have?
Absolute F. What is this? Why is her Memorial not just
Her.
It only makes legendary permanents indestructible. This card is so bad. Were they worried it would be too hard to remove this?
I have no idea, but either way, I think you're just better off staying away from this. Forget about it.
This card is awful.
No, it's you read it and you're like, oh, whoa, they made Avacyn an artifact. I'm like, it's legendary. Like, it's legendary.
It's a good throwback to Avacyn, and I love and it's also a good throwback to the Memorial, which we have. What is the old Memorial? Chroma's Memorial. Great callbacks there, but the card is just awful. Awful.
They say it's made of like sticks and twigs and leaves and stuff, and that's pretty flavorfully accurate in terms of how powerful it actually is. I mean, it's like if Avacyn was made of sticks and mud.
But that's also really cool. It's like blessed.
Kinda. The mud is blessed with a worse ability.
I mean, not from a flavor standpoint. I'm saying from a flavor standpoint, that is actually really cool because Avacyn has a statue is blessed by her, so it's indestructible, which is cool. It's just bad.
Next
is Celebrate the Harvest. Give this a C+. This is a cool little ramp spell. It's 4 mana, and for each creature with a different power you have, you get a basic land in the play tapped. I'm in for this. I think this card is really cool. C+.
The benchmark you have to hit is you need to find 3 basic lands, and then once you do, you're way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly. 3 basics. Once 2 is like, this is just an okay card.
That's explosive veggies.
Yeah, and that's not an exciting card. Not a card we're going to play. But you get to 3, and the ceiling is, it's like 15, but that's not going to happen, obviously. The ceiling is really high for this card, and that's why I really like it. If like you said, all you need to do is get to 3, and now this card's great.
Yeah, hit Coven if your deck, and you find your commander has 0 power, or you've got some weird big things going on, and you can hit Coven all the time. This might just be a slam dunk. Depends on the type of deck you have.
Yeah, if you just have lots of creatures, this could be an awesome way to ramp. Next, we have Celestial Judgment. I give this one a C-. It's a board wipe, so it can't be too bad. But one of the big issues with this board wipe is that if your opponent controls a threat, there's one threat you want to get rid of, and your opponent controls it, and it has unique power, well, guess what? You're not getting rid of it, because that's what this card does.
This one, you have to control like every relevant power. You got to have 1 through 6, and then you can make it this one-sided gotcha board wipe. I don't know how often that's going to happen. Maybe if you have some kind of, what's that card? Like Unspeakable Symbol, where you can just mess with the power of every creature in play. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, this card definitely has potential to do a lot of good things, but it is 6 mana for a board wipe, which is really high. We don't want to be spending 6 mana for the average board wipe. We want something special out of it. And this can be that special thing, but your deck's really got to make sure that it has a lot of different powers.
Yes. Cleaver Scab is next. Cleaver Scab. I think they're Scabs. This is a C. This is the one that splits zombies in half, and then you get 2 of them, right? This is sweet.
Yeah, this is a really cool card. I love the idea of you sacrifice some cool big zombie. I see if Grave Titan was a zombie. Now I'd be talking.
But it's garbage.
But it's not. It's garbage. It's just it's a giant for some reason. You split it in half and you get 2 of them. I love this. This is so cool. Plus, you can just start splitting in half the tokens. I don't know how this works from a mathematical standpoint as as it doesn't make much sense because if you split something in half and you keep doing it, eventually.
Well, this proves that canonically zombies are starfish.
So,
Cut a zombie in half, it grows into 2 independent zombies with the same abilities.
Yeah, I love this card. I think this card is a flavor win. It's a C, middle of the road. It isn't anything super special.
You got to untap with it.
Yeah, and you want to make sure, and you don't want to just throw this in any zombie deck. You need this in a zombie deck that's playing big, bulky zombies.
Like ETB heavy, really want the triggers again type of zombies.
Yeah,
so be careful.
I think it'd be really good it works well. It wouldn't be good in the deck because it's a mono black deck, the new Gisa. But like, she brings back stuff and adds the zombie to the creatures that she gets back.
So like a blue-black special.
Yeah, so like a Gisa Geralf type deck, but like Gisa's in it. Yeah.
I could see it. Ooh, even Gisa and Geralf, because when you cleave the zombie in half, you sacrifice it and you just cast it again.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 of them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think this card has a lot of homes and zombies. Just make sure the deck is gonna take advantage of it.
How about Crowded Crypt?
It's a D. This one's not bad. It's a 3-mana rock though that tests for black, and then it can like make some Decayed Zombies. It's just not quite good enough. I'm not really interested in paying 6 to get Decayed Zombies. Decayed Zombies are really weak. They really don't do much. You got to make sure you have ways to sacrifice them because they can only attack once and they can't block. They're a very weak token.
Let me tell you right now, they can't attack or block. You have to sacrifice them, or else you're wasting your time.
Yeah, unless it's like super huge, then it's like.
I mean, unless you're attacking for lethal, which we know you're not. It's a 2/2 zombie.
Yeah,
you got to sacrifice it with like Yawgmoth or something.
Death triggers, but yeah, you need some ways to take advantage of these decaying things because the 2/2 decay zombies are very weak. On average, worse than a 1/1 most likely.
Yeah. Let's move to Curse of Clinging Webs. It's going to stop their dice triggers and give you spider tokens. I just don't understand what you're supposed to do with this. I mean, it's a curse, so maybe it goes in the curse deck. But the curse deck's not green. We know that now.
Here's the problem with Curse of Clinging Webs. And this is a problem that's going to recur with all of these. These are targeted. You put them on one player. You're only stopping one player from doing one thing. These cards just don't do enough. You're not trying to just bully one player down and wear him away and get incremental advantage. These cards are all weak because of that, because you have to just target one player with them.
Yeah, if this was just Kalidas for spiders on an enchantment, that card might be pretty sweet.
That card would be amazing. In fact, I play like 5-6 mana for that card.
Yeah, but it's not, so it gets a D. How about Curse of Conformity?
I mean, we just fall to the same exact problem. These curses are not doing enough. There's so many. In fact, let's just, because there's like 5 curses in a row here. We have Curse of Conformity, Curse of Obsession, Curse of Relentless Dead, and Curse of Binding. Unbinding. So all of these, I'm just going to D, D, F, D plus, D. None of them get higher than a D plus. Curses are weak. That's all.
So the difference that Curse of Conformity has with almost every other curse is that you probably want to target yourself because it makes your 1/1s into 3/3s as a base. But I just don't know where that gets you because now you're paying 5 mana for +2/+2. It's not even better than Dictate of Heliod, and that card's not good.
Yeah, Curse of Conformity is not doing it. Curse of Obsession, I think, is like the reason I give that enough. That's the worst one. That card makes them draw 2 cards, and then they have to discard their end step. Okay, that's a disadvantage for 1 turn.
Once, and then it's amazing.
And that's amazing, and it's just an advantage. This card's get out of here. Stop with these terrible designs. Relentless Dead's getting you some zombies. I'm done. I'm done with these curses. They're boring.
Moving on, Drown in Dreams. This is the 2 blue X. You draw X, and then somebody mills twice X. And I kind of like this card more than a D+. I would maybe give it a C- personally, because I think you play it in decks where you want to target yourself, and then the draw X becomes, draw X plus 3, and you just get like 3 bonus cards if you flashback. If you mill a flashback card or a reanimation thing, something castable from the graveyard, I think it can do some serious work.
Yeah, maybe it is a little better than D+, but I got it at D+, because I just feel like this is now a commander thing that they're putting in every commander set. It's X, 3 mana, draw X cards with some little upside somewhere. And yeah. I just think this is one of the worst ones.
Commander's Insight is the one that cares about casting your commander. That could be, 3 mana, draw 2 if you pay 0 for X if you cast your commander twice. Then there's, I think, Diviner's Portent, which wants you to roll a die, and then you add that to the cards you roll. I think that one might be the best one. But this one's the next best one. This could be easily better than Stroke of Genius and Blue Sun Zenith if you're in the right deck.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe you're right. If you want to mill yourself, this might be the one to go to. Maybe it's more of a C plus, or no, maybe it's more of a C minus than a D plus. But I still got it pretty low. I'm not super high on this card.
But you might have a deck that 100% wants it.
Yes. Next we have Empty the Laboratory. This card gets a C minus. It's a polymorph for zombies. The tough thing about this is, yeah, sacrificing is awesome. I love that it lets you sacrifice zombies off of the battlefield. Zombies wants to be doing that. There's not a ton of big, huge, giant, great zombies to be hitting. That being said, card's still a C minus. I think there is definitely some cool things to be done here.
What are the best ones? There's like Rot Hulk, Gravespawn, Sovereign. Those are two of the ones that are sticking out right away. It's like, I really want to hit these.
Yeah, Rot Hulk is amazing. That card is
the real deal.
Yeah, that card is awesome.
We probably should have made that the best card from whatever game night set that was from.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we just underestimated Rot Hulk. It was tough to know how good that card was.
Yeah, until you play with it. So next we got Ghouls Night Out. This lets all your opponents choose something that you get with Decayed, and then you get your best thing with Decayed. I think it's all right. It's a C. There's a card, it was like Dredge the Mire, maybe, that was just 3 and a black for the opponent's thing. They all choose their worst thing, and you get it. And I didn't think that card was that bad, so this is probably going to perform okay.
Yeah.
Just like solid, not great, probably replaceable.
It's a 5-mana reanimation spell, so it's not super great. Yeah, we're not talking about something really good here. Your opponent's everything your opponent's doing, if you is probably going to be mostly bad. You can obviously set up some situations where it's just crazy, like an opponent only has one really, really strong creature in the graveyard, and you cast this, you get their but now you get something insane from them and something insane from you. But most of the time, you're going to get 3 worthless things and 1 good thing from your own graveyard.
You know where this totally goes?
Where?
It totally goes in that Teriel Active Trees and Deck We Brood. Because you're cultivating their graveyard anyway, and you're like exiling stuff. Mm-hmm. So you just like take their best thing. Ken, that one's for you. That's a freebie. Harrowblade Elite is next. This is literally just Marwyn the Nurturer, but for humans. But it's not legendary. I'm gonna give it like a C minus. It's gonna perform totally fine. Human tribal is where you have to be to play this card.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally fine. It can get out of hand if you get it going. I mean, you just can suddenly be tapping for 6-7 mana sometimes in the right situations, but it's still slow. It's a 3-mana. It's a 3-mana card that you need to really start working around and get going in order to actually get anything out of it.
It always taps for 1, but you want probably 3 before you feel good about it.
Yeah, exactly. So what's next? What's after that one?
It's Hordewing Scab. I'm gonna get it right eventually. Hordewing Scab. It's we got a C minus because it gives their zombies flying, and when they hit, for each player you hit, you draw that many, and then you discard that many. So if you chip in each opponent, deal whatever damage, you draw 3 and then discard 3. This card's pretty sweet. Nice evasion on your zombies. Problem is, 5 mana to give your zombies flying in like the regular commander setting. It's probably only okay. So
yeah,
like C minus.
Yeah, it's like a C minus. This card is pretty decent. It does give you evasion. It lets you hit him for quite a bit of damage. Like you said, the weakest part of this is just that it's 5 mana. That's just a little too much to give your zombies flying. Though I do like the hit bonus.
Yeah, it's a good bonus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, zombies want to be discarded into your graveyard. So if you can discard a Gravecrawler, you feel like you're cheating.
Yeah, my 5 mana slot's pretty clogged. I mean, obviously, if this was 2 mana, I'd be like, whoa, now we're talking. But that's kind of what it needed to be. It needed to be way cheaper than this for me to give it like a B grade.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 mana even. We'd be talking about a little bit of a card.
Yeah.
Next is Moreland Rescuer. A 6 mana thing, gave it a C. I think it is pretty awesome if you just get a ton of things back when it dies. And on top of that, if you can augment its power in any way, now you can just get more and more stuff back. This card's really cool. It exiles itself to stop it from doing any cool loops that it could do. It would have awesome loops if not for that. But regardless, still a very good and cool card.
Prowling Geistcatcher is a rock solid card. When you sacrifice things, they get exiled kind of like under him. And if it's a token, he still gets a +1/+1 counter. And then when he leaves, for any reason, bounce him, flicker him, sacrifice him, he gets exiled. All those cards just come back to the battlefield? Huh?
I'm absolutely a huge fan of this card. It just goes in your decks that are already going to be sacrificing stuff where you're always going to have a sack outlet out. You just set it up. You just wait for the board wipe. Oh, okay, I'll sack my whole team, put it under it. Oh, he dies. Oh, and everything's back except for him. This card's strong, very strong. You just need synergy, and all of a sudden this card is going to be just a house.
Like all bees, when you build around it, it's one of the best cards in your entire deck.
Yes, exactly. So another great card. That's one of my favorite cards from the side. I think the design is great. Next is Ravenous Rot. Give it a C+. When you cast them, you sacrifice up to 3 zombies, and if For every zombie you sacrifice, each other player sacrifices that many creatures.
You triple fleshbag them.
That's strong, and you're just gonna make stupid, worthless zombies. You're gonna sack a Gravecrawler, a Decayed token, and some other zombie you don't care about at all.
Yeah, and then boom, they get Feast of Death. I'm trying to think of a triple sacrifice effect.
Yeah,
they get wrecked. This card's really, really good. I think we have it at C+ though, because you kind of have to be in zombies. It's not build around you enough to be one of the best cards in your whole deck. It's just going to be a really good card when you build around it.
It's very specific. That's one of the main things. It's like sacrificing 3 zombies means you can only ever play this in the zombie deck. There's nowhere else you can go with this because having 3 zombies is not something a deck can reliably do unless it's dedicated to zombies. C+, I think, is a fair grade for this. Maybe you could go trending toward B- because it is a very strong effect overall, but I think I'm going to stick with C+.
Yeah. How about Ruinous Intrusion?
I gave this a D-, and I'm trending towards F.
Yeah, I think you're being generous.
It's a 4 mana exile, an artifact or enchantment. That's too much. That's way too high. We don't want to be paying that. Yes, you get counters equal to the converter mana cost, but what if you're exiling something like, I don't know, a Soul Ring, something that's totally reasonable to be exiling. One, you're down a ton of mana.
No. Make it Mana Crypt so you don't get any.
I mean, either way, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, they're both terrible. Like again, down a ton of mana and getting very few counters, just terrible.
We have cards that are way more efficient to get counters, and we have cards that are way more efficient to get rid of artifacts or enchantments. Can we compare this to the new Druid of Purification or Force of Vigor? It's embarrassing.
Yeah, absolutely embarrassing. Not a good card.
Shadowkin.
Shadowkin, also not a good card. I give it a D+. This is just, it's a flash clone, but it's only a 2/2, and then in your upkeep, everyone mills 3, and you can copy one of those creatures. How are you going to make this work? That's my issue. I just don't know how you're reliably ever going to get this to work. And because of that,
for that reason, we're out.
Because of that, I'm just giving it a D+. I just don't think this has any real homes overall. Is it a cool card? Yeah, I think the design is awesome, and the art is spooky. But I'm just not interested. I'm not putting it anywhere. I don't like it. Up next is Cigarden's Vanguard. This, I give a C-. It can really just flash in and out of nowhere deal a ton of damage, just doubling what you were going to be doing, make you win some combat you wouldn't have won. But a one-time effect like this just isn't that strong. Granted, you still get the body, but the body's not that relevant, so
Yeah, this feels like kind of overkill. So either you're giving double strike to your go-wide team that isn't pumped, in which case it's not that much damage, or they are pumped, and how pumped are they that they're not just killing them anyway?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, how crazy can you really go with this? How much can you really do with it? Sure, I like it. I think it's a pretty decent card. I give it a C-. This isn't unplayable by any stretch of the imagination. I just think there's better options in most cases. You can just cut this.
Your best case is like, once you pump, you can now kill 2 players instead of 1, I guess. That's not terrible. Cigarden Zealot, this is a beefy boy. This guy is like jacked. He's a 5 mana 3/3. At the beginning of combat, all your creatures with different powers, you're going to get +X/+X, where X is his power. So you want to throw like a Rancor or something big and cheap on this to make him like a 6/6 and then just win.
Yeah, the only thing that makes me sad about him is he gives Vigilance instead of Trample. If he gave Trample, I'd be all in for this card. He would be overrun every turn. That'd be a cool card.
Build around Kamal for 5.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a cool card, but unfortunately he's not. But you still see. This isn't a bad card at all. I love every single combat. You can just give your guys +3. And the Vigilance isn't irrelevant because it now lets you block after your big attack.
Problem is you can't go wide. You're only going to get 5 creatures at most that actually get the bonus, which is still good.
You got to build. This is good for the humans deck.
Yeah, you just can't attack with 30 creatures that get buffed.
Yeah, the humans Coven deck seems to be focused around +1 counters and having different powers, so that's what he wants to do. He's going to fit perfectly there.
All day. What about Somberwald Beastmaster?
This card sucks. It sucks. It just is a 7 mana thing, enters and makes a bunch of tokens. Your tokens have Death Touch. It's not relevant enough. The bodies aren't big enough. None of this is good enough.
No.
It does go infinite though, with Nim Deathmantle and Ashnod's Altar.
Just like every card ever. Just like every card that taps for 2 mana goes infinite with friggin' Heaven's Aura. Can we? I hate those comparisons. Still an F.
Yeah, this card is absolute butts. Don't play it.
No. Stalwart Pathlighter.
Yeah, this is another Coven card, but I'm not super interested in it. If you have Coven at the beginning of combat, you give all your creatures indestructible. It lets you do some attacks, but we can just do better. Like Cigarden Zealot's so much better. There's better Coven things. This is just not the reward you're looking for when you're trying to do Coven. So I would cut this from almost any deck.
I think you use this for the give my guys indestructible, send them wherever, and then board wipe after. That's where you're getting the value out of this.
Yeah,
You just keep doing it.
That's completely fair. You do get a lot of value when you do the board wipe thing with this. Maybe that does make this card a little better, but
D plus instead of D. It's still
Yeah,
down the food chain.
it's still rough. I mean, it's still, you got to play this card and then follow up with a board wipe. That's already a lot of mana. Maybe in an ideal deck that's made for Coven already, and you have the good board wipes because you made the deck good. Like you have the one that can cost one less for each creature on the battlefield.
Vanquish the Horde?
Yeah, Vanquish the Horde, and you have Blasphemous Act because maybe you're playing Naya Coven or something.
Sure, you're playing Naya.
And now in that case, this card gets a lot better. But overall, just avoid it. I'm probably not going to tell you to play this ever. Next, we have Tomb Tyrant. I give this a D+. It's a Lord for 4 mana. That's not relevant at all. So we have to look at the other text, which is pay 3 mana, tap, sacrifice a creature, get a zombie from your graveyard to the battlefield at random. Zombies just aren't big and bulky. We mentioned this already. And because of that, you just end up with, you're going to get like, activate them. Oh, get back a 2-drop. Oh.
Gravecrawler, what are you doing in there?
Yeah, exactly. It's just not going to work out the way you want it to. And the fact that you have to have 3 zombies in your graveyard to activate this means you can't even really cultivate all these great situations.
Most zombies are weak, though. Most zombies kind of just swarm you with a horde. There's not, like we just said with the polymorph, there's not a ton of giant zombies. You're like, here we go. Hope I hit this. They're just not in your deck because they don't exist.
Yeah.
Something I'm thinking, though, I was just thinking about this the other day and came up again. One of the things our channel is probably known for in terms of takes is +1/+1 is not good.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I don't really see that too many other places, but that's definitely a thing we latch onto that is probably unique to our channel.
You have to go real wide for just +1/+1 to be worth it, and usually you can just stretch for something a little bigger, like a +2/+2 effect, and where you really start getting something.
Yeah. So now we got the cycle of 5 visions, and they're all kind of with an asterisk. You only want them if they fit with your deck, and your commander is like 5 or more mana because you want to cheat the flashback to be super cheap, and that's the only way you can do it is by making your commander expensive. So most of these cards are just black. You're really not going to find too many homes for them. There's like a corner case for all of them. Dominance is put a counter, then double it. This one, your commander's got it. Maybe like a Skullbriar, but then the flashback's $1 million.
Yeah, it's just not that good overall. I don't understand. It's just 1 counter, then double. That's not even a good 3 mana spell. So
yeah, on face is terrible.
On face, that's already a terrible spell. I'm never playing that. And then you flip it, and it's like, okay, now we're talking about flashing it back. 2 mana flashback? If this card read 2 mana flashback always, and 3 mana play it, I don't know that I even like that card that much.
Double. So on a creature with nothing, you get 2, then 6? You end up with 8, is that right? Or am I way off?
No, you end up with 6.
You get 1, then it doubles to 2.
Then you put it.
Then you get a 3rd,
and it doubles to 6.
Oh, it doesn't put that many doubles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get 6. So that's just. So you really gotta take advantage of it. It's a D. So just be careful.
I just don't think. Yeah. I don't.
Probably don't play it. Visions of Dread, another random Teriel card because Teriel's 7 mana, and you want to just let an opponent pick a creature, then you get it. I mean, literally, other than that Teriel deck, I don't know where this is going.
The problem with this card, period, is letting your opponent choose. That is always bad. Yeah. So if we're letting our opponent choose, we're not interested in this. Is another let our opponent choose, so we're probably not going to want
It's
this
maybe
guy.
Politics, but they're going to give you butts 90% of the time.
Yeah.
You're going to get poop soup.
Unless there's like one big threat on the board and they have like a choop, and then it's like, well, okay, but what if this was just your choop?
Right. or they'll give you like a Wood Elves, and you're just like, thanks. Yeah. Great. 3 mana, huh?
Yeah, appreciate that. It was really nice of you.
So Visions of Duplicity is next, and you're switching control of creatures you don't control. So it's like a wrong turn. I don't know where. Not many decks are going to want this, like a group hug thing.
It's just not an effect you want often. Maybe in like, I'm thinking Ineas might potentially be able to use this.
Because you switch 1 to be closer to you, and then you take it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Is that even good in that deck? I don't even know if that's good, but it sounds okay. The next one is the best vision. It's Visions of Glorious. It's 5 mana. You get X creatures for X number of creatures you control. They're 1/1. They're human. That's all good. That's a fairly strong card already, just to double up the number of bodies in your battlefield. Then with the flashback cost, you're talking about a card that can potentially do a lot. This is a C. It's something broken or insane, but if you can play it and flashback it in the same turn, you're talking about tripling your creatures up, or doubling. Yeah. So it's double and then double, which is better than triple. That's awesome.
Check the cost of your commander and compare this card to Increasing Devotion, because I think if you can get a better rate than Increasing Devotion, this is definitely a playable card in your deck.
Yeah, Increasing Devotion is a secretly okay card.
Like it's totally fine. It's not terrible.
Yeah, and it makes making humans is relevant. Humans are getting more and more support.
The human token cards, they're going up in stock.
We're just finally getting support for humans for Commander. It's been supported in other formats.
Yeah.
Finally. So we're talking about Commander humans.
I remember back in the day looking at Commander human decks, and they had like Captain of the Watch. It's like, this doesn't do anything, but we have no humans to play.
Those aren't humans. Those are soldiers.
Ooh. Okay. Visions of Ruin is the last one. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact. You get a treasure for each one. Okay. It's like a D+. It's better than the other 3 that are Ds.
Yeah, I'm just not... There's so many useless artifacts. Treasures are rampant in Commander. Yeah. If anyone sacrifices a treasure, you feel like you got robbed and you did not get your money's worth or your mana's worth for this card. I
gain control of target treasure.
I'm absolutely not interested in this card because of that reason. It's making players sacrifice artifacts is just not that good overall.
Pier's Whim, this is not.
Yes, Pier's Whim is so much better. But again, there is also the situations where this card will be very good.
Yeah, it could be a 6-for-1.
Yeah, and you'll be like, okay, I was very happy with that. But overall, I'm just not super interested.
The red one, I think, is the only one that this really comes up in a ton. Maybe the black one, because the blue one sucks. If you mill these, it's a free roll as long as your commander's cheap. So maybe in those type of decks where you can discard it or mill it like reliably all the time, then I'm higher on it.
Yeah. And the last card from this set is Wall of Mourning. And I give it a C+. I think this card is pretty good. 4 mana, enter the battlefield, exile card face down for each opponent you have. So it's going to be 3. So it's going to be 3. And then at your end step, if you have Coven, which means 3 creatures with different powers, this is 0. This is going to be real easy.
Yeah.
You get to put one of those at random into your hand. So you essentially draw a card. I'm in. This is basically Wall of Omens with more upside.
This is white card draw. This is white 2 mana, more than a 2-for-1. I love this card. White is getting some juice, baby.
I'm a big fan of this card. I love that this is a 2 mana Phyrexian Arena-like effect, but you get the first card right away if your deck is built to take advantage of it. Yes.
And it's not busted like a Smothering Tithe or a Teferi's Protection. It's just a really good white card that goes in all these white decks looking for card draw. I'm in. I'm so in.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this card. Probably one of my favorite designs from this set. But that is our video. And special shout-outs to all of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. Obviously, scrolling on screen if you would like to join the ranks of the poopy babies, as they're known, and scroll on screen every single video, head over to patreon.com and support us.
Speaking of credits, if you want to appear in the credits of our new gameplay series coming hopefully later this year, Shuffle Scuffle, just got to donate to the Kickstarter, which is still running, but your time is not running quickly. It's running out. There's only 4 days left as of recording of this. So you better get your booty in there because we're offering a new stretch goal where if we hit this goal that we're very close to hitting, bloopers are coming after every season of this show because we're not just going to have one season. Most likely.
Seasonal bloopers. So get excited for that. TCGplayer.com. I already went over this earlier, but I'm back again to it. Link in the description below. Click it. You go through that link. All of a sudden, when you buy any of those Magic cards that you were going to buy anyway, you support your favorite YouTubers,
us,
Joe Cherries and Beezy.
Yes, and there's also a Discord where you can come hang out with us, our fans, anyone else, and brew decks, play games, talk about memes, post random crap, show your dogs and your cats. Check out our Discord. It's really fun. A lot of people in there. There's like 3,000, so it's a full-blown community.
Going on 4,000. Yeah, it's getting quite big. Tidbit about a life, and it is your turn.
Ooh, it's my turn. I feel like I had one, and I remember it being about something that I was doing at that time, but I'm not wearing those clothes or in that mindset as I totally forget what it was. I was really bored the other day, and I was watching Hulu, just like looking for movies, and I saw this one. It's from like 2020, so it's super recent. It's called Triggered. It was just like it's like your classic Saw movie where like 9 kids wake up and then their crazy history teacher shows up and like straps bombs to their chest.
Jeez.
And then the bomb vests all have this time display. I guess major spoilers for Triggered. Go watch it if you really like my movie recommendations. But there's like these times that come up and somebody has the most time and somebody has the least time and you have to kill each other to get their time, and it was like really tacky, but it was fun overall.
They were kids.
They were okay. They were
high schoolers.
They were like your cliche 20-somethings. They literally said the quote, "High school was a long time ago," and I'm just like, this is the type of movie I'm watching. This is what I'm here for.
So they were adults.
They're like post college. One of them was about to graduate from college, so they're that age.
That sounds awful.
It was terrible, but it was enjoyable. I am a sucker for a premise of start with X people and then eliminate them one by one, I am a sucker for that every single time. I don't know why.
Doesn't even sound like a good premise. This premise sounds awful.
It was okay. Some of it was like so tacky. It was so bad at parts.
I mean,
Some of it was okay. Some of it was all right.
I'm glad I haven't watched it. I'm glad I will never watch it.
Triggered, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.